This is WLVI, TV channel 56, Cambridge, Boston. It's time now for the Newscene mid-morning report for this Friday morning, September 24th, 1982. Good morning, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins. It is what's happening here. Ideology took a back seat to party loyalty yesterday when Governor Edward J. King and conservative Democrat embraced the entire Democratic ticket led by the more liberal Michaelis Dukakis. Dukakis, who defeated King, filed a Democratic nomination for governor in the last week's primary. John F. Kerry, the nominee for lieutenant governor, and a number of the party's top elected officials gathered in King's State House press room in a mood more businesslike than festive for the official handshake between the chief protagonists. While King proclaimed his support for the Democratic ticket, he said differences over the abortion issue prevented him from actively campaigning for the election of the caucus. The Democratic Party, it's my party and I'm supporting the Democratic ticket. Governor Dukakis is on the ticket. King said at the State House press conference after a week of embracing views us 180 degrees apart. King joked yesterday, my staff now says we are only 179 degrees apart. Representatives of the King and Dukakis have a number of private meetings in the past week to find common ground on which to base the endorsement. Dukakis accepted a qualified endorsement with thanks. The Democratic Party in Massachusetts has two long-standing traditions on fighting and winning, said Dukakis. There is nothing like a general election battle against a Republican entire the Democrats. The Democratic Party remains that the party of opportunity, the party of jobs, the party concerned for working people in Massachusetts, he said. Governor King and I do disagree on many issues, but on the broader issues there is basic and fundamental agreement. King's pledge of support came after he secured assurances that Dukakis support for the number of programs he insisted. In New York, Liberal Lieutenant Governor Mark Cuomo upset New York City Mayor Edward Clark to the primary battle for the Democratic gubernatorial nomination in the Empire State. Cut to us. Once said living in rural America was a joke, lost upstate New York by 100,000 votes. Newly trusted margin of defeat statewide. With 13,457 and 14,238 precincts reported, or 95%, the vote was Cuomo 649,597 or 54%, and Clark 563,816 or 46%. Cuomo will lost the primary to Clark in the 9th State Assembly race, but Mayor said, I decided winning is better than losing. I look forward to the look in arms with Mayor Clark to the fall campaign. I'm still married and that's not bad. Clark said in a concession speech. Iron Major Cut Race, I am supporting the Democrat candidate Mark Cuomo. I urge all you to do the same. What is important to all us that we keep a Democratic nominee. In November, Cuomo faces a league millionaire, Lewis Lehrman of the Ivy League millionaire who spent $7.1 million in the primary not to defeat his former U.S. Attorney Paul Kern, but to make his name well known. Lehrman got 8% of the vote. Senator Dennis Monahan easily won his Democratic primary and will face conservative state. Washington, the full-blooded voice asked Molly, why doesn't Ted Kennedy just quit and sail around the world? On the television screen, Jack Fallon, a longtime friend, says he and Kennedy have talked about it a lot. About building a schooner and just taking off someday. But he says he knows it and not been nothing more than a more than in his favor. Washington, the full-body voice asked Molly, why doesn't Ted Kennedy just quit and sail around the world? On the television screen, Jack Fallon, a longtime friend, says he and Kennedy have talked about it a lot, about building that schooner and just talk it off someday. But he says he knows that it has been nothing more than the adult chatter and weekend sales that he's not going to quit. Kennedy's pal tells the television camera, ordinarily the package of television commercials and the senator seeking re-election with the odds overwhelmingly in his favor and no less than moment in its significance. Not so with Kennedy this year in a carefully planned campaign that began on the air in Massachusetts yesterday. He is not only commencing in a major effort to boost and protect his margin against Republican race shaming, he is also testing an approach that his aides say he would be central to the second try after presidency. In these commercials, he is taking aim at perhaps the most concrete failed obstacle in his path, what is known as a character issue. In any of these ads, words or phrases used that describe specifically in his problems that dogged nearly all his steps throughout the 1980 primary, chapter, marriage, lifestyle. Part of the commercials and in particular the series of 4 or 5 minute spots. After 2 months of parliamentary stagnation and 4 days of intense politicking and nuclear arms limitation, referendum was reported by the legislature yesterday and signed by Governor Edward J. King. The question of whether to put Massachusetts on record as favoring negotiations between the United States and the Soviet Union will bring it about a halt to the nuclear weapons waste when they appear on the November 2nd ballot. The referendum question was delivered to Secretary of State Malcolm J. Connolly and sent by him with only 12 minutes to spare before the 5 p.m. deadline, which Connolly had enacted early in the week. Jerusalem Defense Minister Elishu on yesterday promised that a full investigation will be conducted in last week's massacre of Palestinians in Beirut. Sharon on Wednesday acknowledged that Israel officials that permitted Lebanese military men to enter the Palestinian camps to search for guerrillas did not specify what type of inquiry would be held. But as Assembly Prime Minister that an investigation would be created, he declared in a brief emotional address in a memorial ceremony in an army camp south of Tel Aviv. If any mistake or poor judgment was made in the tragic events of Beirut, they will be brought up in the inquiry because there are no cover-up. Shan was greeted by several shots of murder and monster as he spoke in an army camp south of Tel Aviv in the memorial ceremony for paratroopers killed in Israel's wars. But many others at the ceremony both strong support for him. Sharon's appearance came at a senior army official could be believed or was posted toward an Israeli scientist petition for investigation. About 3,000 Israelis tried to Beijing resign. Much on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's home to protest rejection of an immediate inquiry to the Beirut refugee camp massacres that last week. Brigadier General Amram Mitzvah, head of the Israeli Army Staff College yesterday, asked to be put on leave in consequence of the events of recent days in Beirut. The military command announced he was the first senior officer to take such an action in protest of the massacre. Intense communication in Tel Aviv said the military chief of staff, Lieutenant General Rafi Altan, met with Mitzvah and arranged for him to meet with Sharon today. It did not say whether it did not agree to relieve Mitzvah or his post. The 3,000 demonstrators organized by the Peace Now movement marched him from the center of town were stopped by police about 150 years from Beijing's home. In Beirut, promising the greatest torture country of fire forces, Imam Gamal stood yesterday beneath a portrait of his slain brother, Bashir, and was sworn into the office as Lebanon's 7th president. The time has come, he said, when the wars of others can no longer be fought on Lebanese soil and the secular violence has to end. Appearing solemnly, sometimes even grim, during the 50-minute ceremony, the president did not explicitly name Israel and Syria, whose armies occupy most of the country, though he did refer to last week's massacre of Palestinians in the Shatai and Sabra refugee camps. But his message was clear. He drew applause from parliamentaries and foreign dictators when he said, "We were building a strong, independent, sovereign state capable of safeguarding public freedoms and bringing about the withdrawal of all foreign armies from the entire soil of the homeland." Washington, the Senate yesterday dealt a final blow to the new red social agenda for this year, and members voted nearly to table a last bid to win approval of school prayer legislation before Congress recesses of the fall election. The 51-48 vote marked the end of the weeks of debate on the prayer issue and on the anti-abortion amendment that was stopped last week. Senator Jesse Helms, Republican of North Carolina, major sponsor of both, and said that he would not raise either matter again this year. Ought to be exercised in futility, he said. I had any shot of it. I did my best to act to clear the way for the Senate to proceed on major budget legislation needed before the new fiscal year begins on October the 1st. And at a 50-41 roll call last night, the members voted to raise the federal deficit to $1.29 trillion to keep the government funded for 1983. The new figure already accepted the House cut first with a $1.143 trillion ceiling for the security of the increases required to give Treasury the borrowing capacity needed to finance the projected deficit. The major business rebate for the Congress's approval of an omnibus spending bill will keep the government operated in December Senate appropriation bill. Boston weather today, most Saskatchewan around 70 degrees, wind southwest about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, becoming part car, low about 50-55 degrees, wind southwest high. Tomorrow, variable clouds with a church shots high about 70 degrees. Here, Boston temperature clear skies at 65 degrees at 10:30 a.m. And that's me for Newscene mid-morning report on Shell 56 on September 24th, 1982 on a Friday. PJ with you. Have a good day. I will see you later. Bye, buddy.